Every gardener is a creator of a small, personal ecosystem. We till the soil, sow the seeds, and nurture our crops, dreaming of this harmonious paradise where every plant thrives in bliss. But beware. Some plants are not team players. They are the saboteurs, the bullies, the silent invaders. To these invaders, your garden isn't a community, but a territory to be conquered. They're not after you, but your soil. They will slowly, methodically, poison your soil, strangle your prized roses, and undermine your very lawn. Here are 20 plants you should never invite into your garden for the sake of all the other green lives you hold dear. Running bamboo, the silent invader. Sometimes you desire an elegant, living screen, a whispering wall of green that evokes Zen gardens and peaceful solitude. Well, whatever you do, here's one thing to always remember. Running bamboo isn't the plant for you. This is a Trojan horse of the highest order. While you admire the tall, graceful canes, a well-coordinated army of rhizomes is moving underground. They tunnel under fences, sidewalks, and garden beds, surfacing feet away with triumphant shoots. It invades your lawn and chokes your perennials. Even your neighbor's yard isn't safe from their reach. What's more is that their roots are so strong that they can heave pavement and damage foundations. What you planted as a screen becomes an inescapable, ever-expanding green prison wall. So don't let its serenity fool you. It's the most restless plant you'll ever meet. English ivy, the charming strangler. The English ivy is a charmer, offering a timeless, elegant carpet for shady spots and a romantic green facade for walls and fences. It grows by climbing or creeping with aerial roots that develop sticky adhesive discs on the stems, allowing it to cling tightly to surfaces like tree trunks, walls, and fences. Gardeners usually use this beautiful green ornamentally to cover flaws. But there's more to this charmer. English ivy is a suffocating blanket. On the ground, it forms a dense, impenetrable mat that blocks light and air from reaching the soil, smothering any underlying plants, including grass and delicate native wildflowers. When it climbs trees, it becomes a deadly cloak, weighing down branches, blocking sunlight from the leaves, and slowly draining the life from the mighty oak or maple that supports it. It takes covering to a whole different level, and in no time, it becomes consuming. So, if you're looking to decorate your garden, look for a green with a lot less of a tyranny complex. Wisteria, the beautiful tyrant. It's impossible to deny the beauty of wisteria. We're talking about long, fragrant purple blossoms cascading from a pergola. What's not to love? The pinnacle of garden romance, a living waterfall of flowers. Well, here's something else that's equally impossible to deny. It's a tyrant in gorgeous blossoms. Those eye-catching, twisting vines are incredibly strong. These are vines strong enough to constrict, winding so tightly around tree trunks, wooden posts, and gutters that they can girdle and kill a mature tree or pull down a structure with their sheer weight. What's worse? Their tyranny doesn't just stay above soil level. Underground, its roots are equally aggressive, spreading far and wide and sending up stubborn suckers that hijack your garden beds. It demands constant, heavy pruning to keep its destructive power in check. So, if you must plant this beautiful weapon, constant vigilance is necessary. One moment of neglect, and your paradise will be under new management. Japanese knotweed, the underground empire. Here's the thing. The Japanese knotweed presents itself as a handsome, bamboo-like shrub with heart-shaped leaves, promising a quick, dense thicket. It seems harmless, like the perfect solution for a barren slope. But you should never trust these guys. Why? Well, because beneath the surface, Japanese knotweed is building an empire. Its rhizome network is a monstrous, concrete-cracking behemoth that can extend 20 feet deep and wide. It does more than just grow, no. It occupies territory with brutal efficiency, releasing allelopathic chemicals that sterilize the soil for any competitors. Your flower beds, your vegetable patch, even your lawn are merely future provinces of its domain. Eradicating it is a years-long war of attrition that often requires professional excavation. Put simply, to plant knotweed is to surrender your garden's sovereignty to a green tyrant. Fennel, the biochemical bully. Everyone loves themselves some fennel, a statuesque herb with feathery bronze foliage capable of transforming any garden space. Not to mention, it whispers promises of gourmet delights, of crisp bulbs for the kitchen and fragrant seeds for the spice rack. But here's something most people don't talk about. Common fennel is a biochemical bully. It is allelopathic, releasing substances from its roots that can inhibit the germination and growth of nearby plants, particularly beans, tomatoes, and kohlrabi. It's also a prolific self-seeder, and its tall, branching form can cast excessive shade on sun-loving companions. It doesn't play well with others, subtly sabotaging its neighbors to ensure its own success. The fennel will silently undermine your other crops to ensure it remains the star of your garden. Black walnut, the unseen assassin. What do you know about the black walnut? This is a majestic native tree that offers deep shade and a harvest of valuable nuts. With the promise of tasty nuts and its beauty, it seems like a tree that could become a cornerstone of the property. The only thing is, this is a horrible idea. The black walnut is a garden assassin, and its weapon of choice is juglone. This natural compound, present in its roots, leaves, and nut hulls, leaches into the soil with deadly efficiency. Tomatoes, peppers, potatoes, azaleas, rhododendrons, and lilacs will yellow, wilt, and die in its presence, their roots poisoned. The effect is so potent that the juglone can linger in the soil for years after the tree is gone. This means no matter what you do, a significant portion of your garden will remain a permanent memorial to its reign. If you must add this tree to your green kingdom, ensure you plant it away from the rest of your greens. Sunflowers, the garden narcissists. If I told you planting sunflowers in your garden isn't all rosy, pun intended, you'd probably think I'm telling one elaborate lie. We're still talking about the quintessential happy flower, a towering symbol of summer that attracts pollinators and provides food for birds. Well, prepare to be mind-blown. For all their cheerful appearance, sunflowers can be garden narcissists. They are also allelopathic. They release chemicals from their roots, stems, and leaves, particularly from the decaying seed hulls that suppress the growth of certain plants, including potatoes and pole beans. Planting them in the middle of your vegetable patch can result in stunted, unhappy neighbors. They are also heavy feeders, depleting the soil of nutrients. So, yeah, they're spotlight stealers in every sense of the word, turning every head and capturing every gaze with their golden-rayed beauty. But sadly, their demand for attention doesn't stop at the human eye. Better to give them their own solo stage at the back of the garden. Norway maple. Here is a fast-growing, sturdy shade tree with a dense, beautiful canopy, often sold as a robust street tree. But it hides a secret that could threaten the growth of your greens. And you'll find out how in a minute. Its roots are shallow and dense, forming a fibrous mat that greedily soaks up all surface water and nutrients, starving other plants nearby. Its leaves are so thick that they cast an incredibly deep shade, creating a drip-lined desert where even shade-tolerant grass and perennials struggle to survive. Its prolific seedlings will carpet your garden beds, creating a relentless weeding chore. In no time, the Norway maple will turn from providing you shade to imposing a drought and famine on the rest of your greens. You definitely wouldn't want that, would you? Tree of Heaven, the soil poisoner. Here's a plant with quite a deceptive name, promising heavenly growth and quick shade. Plus, it's quite hardy, sprouting readily in poor soil. What you're looking at is a fast grower that thrives on neglect. So, what could possibly go wrong with planting this green outback? Well, this tree is a biochemical bully. Through a process called allelopathy, it releases a toxin called allanthone into the soil, a herbicide designed to kill the root systems of nearby plants. The ground beneath its canopy becomes a barren, lifeless zone where nothing else can grow. It's a silent, scorched earth policy that ensures it has all the water and nutrients to itself. To make matters worse, when you cut it down, it retaliates by sending up a vengeful forest of suckers from its massive root system. This is a green that seeks to be the only tree in its heaven. That's the only possible reason for its name. Mint, the sweet-smelling usurper. If there's one thing everyone knows about mint, that would be its irresistible fragrance and the promise of fresh tea and great mojitos. That small, innocent-looking pot seems like a sweet-smelling, harmless delight. Well, here's what many people don't know. This green is anything but a delight to the rest of your greens. When you make the mistake of planting mint directly in your soil, you have successfully unleashed a fragrant tyranny. It spreads not by seed, but by underground runners called stolons that move with the relentless determination of an advancing army. It will appear in the middle of your lawn, weave through your thyme, and strangle your sage. This is a green that doesn't want to compete. It wants to conquer, forming a dense monoculture mat that chokes out every other plant in its path. Your herb garden will no longer be a community, but one vast mojito factory and nothing else. With its boundless ambition, the only safe place for mint is in a prison, a pot with no escape routes. Kudzu, the green apocalypse. Kudzu has quite the history, you know. The green was originally promoted for erosion control, thanks to its miraculous growing speed, covering unsightly areas in a blanket of lush green leaves. But unfortunately, they didn't know about just how invasive it is. Kudzu is an ecological apocalypse in vine form. Just like Wisteria, it consumes every green in its sight because of the weight of its vines. The weight of the vines can topple mature trees. But the major problem is its growing speed. Its best quality is also its worst quality. You see, it can grow a foot a day, smothering entire forests, fields, and abandoned structures. It blankets trees, shrubs, and power lines, blocking all sunlight and killing everything underneath by starvation. This is why you just can't plant this green in your garden. It won't just invade your garden. If left unchecked, it becomes your garden, and then the entire landscape. Morning Glory, the Deceiver. Everyone knows the morning glory thanks to their cheerful, trumpet-shaped flowers that open to the morning sun. They're beautiful pot plants capable of climbing trellises with speed. Unfortunately, though, this presumably innocent plant is a deceiver. Its lovely facade hides a prolific and stubborn nature. A single plant produces hundreds of seeds that can lie dormant in your soil for up to 50 years, ensuring you will be weeding out its seedlings for the rest of your gardening life. The vines twine tightly around other plants, strangling your tomatoes, beans, and roses, reducing air circulation and creating a tangled mess that harbors pests and disease. For every day of glory it gives, it demands a year of penance and weeding. Can you give it that amount of attention? For most, the answer to that is a no. Giant Hogweed, the sun-activated Saboteur. The giant hogweed is the towering diva of the plant world, a botanical colossus that scrambles skyward. It's impossible to miss, really. Plus, its beautiful, massive flower heads make it a favorite among gardeners. But this plant isn't one to cuddle up to for two important reasons. Firstly, its sap is a human health hazard. A single touch, and you might get a fiery, blistering rash. No one wants to go through that. Secondly, and most importantly, its threat to the garden is its sheer dominance. Giant hogweed is a massive resource hog, drawing disproportionate amounts of water and nutrients from the soil to fuel its incredible growth, which it needs to grow taller and taller. It outcompetes smaller native plants for light and space, creating a barren zone around it. Furthermore, its destructive nature means that removing it is a complex, hazardous process that can disrupt your entire garden bed and soil structure. So, it's better to stick to admiring this towering beauty away from the rest of your greens. Porcelain berry. Its berries are a mesmerizing natural mosaic of blue, purple, and pink, and its vigorous climbing habit seems perfect for a quick cover. But just like the other climbing plants on here, the porcelain berry spells bad news for the rest of your greens. It's a beautiful smotherer. What this means is that it climbs high into tree canopies, creating such a dense blanket of leaves that it blocks essential sunlight from the host tree and the plants below. The sheer weight of its vines can also break branches. It spreads voraciously by seed. Working side by side with birds that distribute these seeds far and wide, the porcelain berry can invade and degrade entire natural woodland areas, pushing out the native vines that local wildlife depends on. Its beauty is a tool for conquest, so it's better to just never plant this guy in your garden. Japanese barberry, the thorny fortress. It arrives in your garden under the guise of a solution, a hardy, deer-proof shrub cloaked in dramatic crimson or sunset orange foliage, promising year-round color without the fuss. It seems like the perfect low-maintenance sentinel for your borders. What could go wrong? Well, unless your plan was to make this colorful hedge the only thriving plant in your garden, then everything. Japanese barberry forms more than a hedge. It builds a literal fortress. Its incredibly dense, thorny growth creates a microclimate underneath that is perfect for harboring ticks, increasing the risk of Lyme disease in your garden. More critically for your plants, it forms such a thicket that it shades out and outcompetes any nearby perennials or ground covers. It also alters soil chemistry and pH, making it difficult for other plants to establish themselves nearby. Simply put, this hedge ensures nothing else can live near it. Why would you want a green capable of doing that anywhere around your precious greens? Autumn olive, the Bird-Sown invader. Even a government-recommended green can quickly become your worst nightmare. Yep, I'm talking about the autumn olive. Ever heard this plant? Well, it was once government-recommended for its ability to thrive in poor soil, fix nitrogen, and feed birds with its prolific red berries. What the government didn't account for, though, are the unintended consequences that come with planting this green. You see, those very birds that eat its berries become its air force, sowing its seeds in your flower beds, your vegetable garden, and your natural areas. It leafs out early and forms dense, shrubby thickets that steal light and water, displacing the native shrubs and young trees that are essential for a balanced ecosystem. It's a benevolent-looking plant that secretly works to homogenize your landscape. How do you even stop this from happening? Exactly, you don't. So it's just better to steer clear. Oleander, the leaf litter poisoner. What do you know about the oleander? What you're looking at is a drought-tolerant evergreen shrub with a long season of stunning, colorful blooms. You've probably seen it around because it's actually become a mainstay of commercial landscaping. Yet this vibrant performer is a gilded poisoner, and its toxicity is not reserved for curious pets or children. The danger oleander poses to the garden is in its very persistence. Can you believe that? Every part of it is toxic. When its leaves, flowers, or branches fall to the ground, they release toxins into the soil as they decompose. This can inhibit the growth of nearby plants and poses a serious risk to soil-dwelling organisms like earthworms, which are vital for soil health. Contaminated compost or mulch made from its trimmings can wreak havoc on your entire garden. It poisons the very earth it grows in. Its beauty is a surface-level illusion, masking the sterility it creates below. Purple Loosestrife, the Wetland Usurper. For the gardener with a damp spot or a decorative pond, it seems like a godsend, a beautiful, hardy perennial that thrives where others falter, attracting a flutter of butterflies to its nectar-rich flowers. But that's far from the full story. Here's the thing. This plant is an ecological terrorist in wetland areas, and you've just given the plant all it needs to take over. A single purple loosestrife plant can produce over 2 million seeds per year. It invades wetlands, ditches, and the edges of ponds, forming dense, monotypic stands that choke out native cattails, sedges, and other crucial wetland plants. This destroys habitat for waterfowl, amphibians, and other wildlife, turning a diverse ecosystem into a biological wasteland. Garlic mustard. Disguising itself among the precious native wildflowers of your shade garden, garlic mustard is a wolf in sheep's clothing. It mimics the gentle appearance of a woodland helper, all while its roots execute a secret plot to dismantle the delicate fungal network that sustains the entire ecosystem. This plant is a woodland saboteur. It releases chemicals that disrupt the symbiotic relationship between native tree seedlings and the mycorrhizal fungi in the soil they need to thrive. This hampers the regeneration of entire forests. In a shaded garden, it will form dense stands, outcompeting and smothering precious native wildflowers like trillium and wild ginger, permanently altering the understory ecosystem. Horseradish, the indestructible root. You welcome it into your garden for its zesty, pungent roots, imagining occasional gourmet delights. Horseradish settles in without fuss, a hardy and uncomplicated perennial. But this tenant has a secret clause in its contract. It's for life. Once its roots are in, they won't leave anytime soon. Horseradish is the indestructible underground zombie of the garden. What this means is that any tiny fragment of root left in the soil after digging will regenerate into a new, vigorous plant. It can quickly spread beyond its allotted space, popping up in the middle of other perennial beds and becoming a persistent, tenacious weed that you will battle for years. Planting horseradish is a permanent decision. And are you ready to make such a decision? A thriving garden is a community, not a solo endeavor. This means that it relies on balance, cooperation, and respect between all its inhabitants. The plants listed above are the soloists who will drown out the entire orchestra. So, do with this information what you can. Choose wisely, and your garden will thank you for generations. Tell us, will you ever plant any of these? Do you currently have any of these in your garden? How did you eventually get rid of any of them you once had? If you learned anything new today, hit that like and subscribe button. And till next time, my green-thumbed friends,